The Zuma Foundation has tonight warned President Cyril Ramaphosa to withdraw what it calls his illegal and irrational appointment of Chief Justice Raymond Zondo or face legal action. In a letter addressed to the President, the Foundation's lawyers claim, among others, that Justice Zondo lied in his interview with the Judicial Service Commission about his meetings in private with the former President. To make matters worse, according to the Foundation, it says Zondo then further displayed his unsuitability for the position when he made adverse findings against Zuma in the state capture report. Let's speak more about this with the Zuma Foundation spokesperson, Mzwanele Manyi. Mr. Manyi, a very good evening to you. Grateful for your time. So I've outlined some of the reasons why you're calling for this to happen. Why now, a year and a bit into the appointment?
No, look, I think this is a matter that has been ongoing. First, good evening to you viewers. It's a matter that has been ongoing, but I think the final straw that broke the camel's back is the recent utterances of Justice Zondo at Fort, I think, during the OR Tambo lecture, when he just gave himself a license just to use all kinds of gratuitous statements against His Excellency President Zuma. He just gave himself carte blanche. He was, in fact, Zulu is like a President Zuma. And this is what even the slow pace that we're coming through to say maybe, even though we had these problems, that maybe we thought maybe let's just relax. But when that happened, then it was very clear that Justice Zondo was a man on a mission to destroy President Zuma by any means possible, even using this OR lecture thing to just come and just try to decimate his credibility in society. So we just thought, not only that, this flies against what you would expect a judge, the way a judge needs to conduct himself. This actually even violates a lot of the JSC code of conduct for judges. In fact, this one step that we're doing now will also be looking at also reporting Judge Zondo also to the JSC Commission, to the Judicial Service Commission for his conduct, because even himself, his conduct was just totally unacceptable. So that's what we're dealing with.
So it's a lot of things, right? So he's offended the former president. You say he's proven himself to be unsuitable for the role, but ultimately you keep circling back to the State Capture Commission process, which we know ultimately when it went to court and the Constitutional Court found that the Zuma Foundation or former President Jacob Zuma was wrong to not have participated in that process as per an order for him to go there and answer the question. So he lost that at the Constitutional Court. Are you trying to settle that matter now through this?
No, I think you're matching issues up. What we're dealing with
here
you
raised all of those issues, so that's why I grouped them together, because you raised all of them.
You are muddling issues up. The issue that we are raising today is the unconstitutionality of the actions of President Ramaphosa in appointing Chief Justice Zondo. You must remember that there's a whole regulated process in terms of how this should go down. There's all kinds of interviews, there's panels, there's all of that. And all of this is because our Constitution has got no dictatorship. Our Constitution has got a very strong principle of rationality. Whatever decision we have, there's no body in South Africa that's got absolute power. No such a thing. So therefore, everything has got to be done in a rational manner. Now, when you have a situation where you've got a well-balanced panel that did all these interviews, and this panel, having applied its mind, then they start to rank everyone. And the people that rank the highest, not even the first three that rank the highest, anyone was picked up. And the JSC was so clear that they actually made a recommendation of one person, because this person shot the lights out, Judge Maya. And for some reason, President Ramaphosa does not appoint Judge Maya, and he goes out and appoints somebody that apparently scored the lowest. And apart from that, even if you were to look at the track record of Justice Zondo, on that alone, there were quite a few issues that made him not a suitable candidate. One of them In fact, I think even just having seen this letter of President Zuma here, that letter is actually quite, what you call it, is quite conservative. It could have gone to say that he actually perjured himself because at the commission, he had given the impression that his proximity to President Zuma is very far. They're not even friends or anything. He gave that impression at the State Capture Commission. And yet, when he went to the interviews, he then said, oh, Zuma, know him for the past 20 years. And it's exactly the issue that when he was probed about, he had said, no, we don't know each other, we're not friends. Right. And yet he attended weddings and all of that. So that's some of the issues. And importantly, the Constitution requires that the gender issues are taken on board on Section 174, Subsection 2. The gender issue is a constitutional issue. How did President Ramaphosa ignore such an important issue which is in the Constitution?
Let me ask you this then, Mr. Manyi. All of those factors, sir, would have been issues when the appointment was made in April last year. Yet you didn't write this letter then, and you're writing it 13 months later. So why now? What has changed? Because if he was unsuitable then, surely you should have done it at that time. And on the issue of the JSC and the processes, when you take the full reading, it says the President, as head of the National Executive, after consulting the Judicial Service Commission and the leaders of parties represented in the National Assembly, appoints... Can you hear me now, sir?
Now I can, yeah. Okay,
okay, let me start then in the interest of fairness. I was saying to you...
Something to do with the line.
Mzwanele Manyi, are you able to hear me, sir? Okay.
Yeah, when you say can I hear you, I hear that part. But when you go to the actual content,
okay,
you get sabotaged.
Let me try again and see if we're able to hear each other.
I can't hear you now, just in case you are talking.
Okay. So what I was trying
to... That part I can hear.
What I was trying to say on air, I don't know what's going on here. It sounds a bit like a conversation, does it not, between the Chief Justice and the former President, as per what would have happened at the Commission. What I was saying to you is you referenced the JSC processes, and when you look at what the powers of the President does, as far as the appointment of a Chief Justice, it speaks only to consulting the Judicial Service Commission and the leaders of parties represented in the National Assembly. So the recommendation, whatever it may be from the JSC, is not an instruction to the President. Okay, that's not going to work out. Let's leave it there with Mzwanele Manyi confirming tonight that they've now written to the President on behalf of the patron of the Jacob Zuma Foundation, former President Jacob Zuma, telling the current President, Cyril Ramaphosa, to basically rescind, if you will, the appointment of Raymond Zondo as the country's Chief Justice, citing various issues. Among them, they say Zondo has proven himself unsuitable because he's not been fair to the former president. They also raise issues now that Mr. Manyi was saying around gender parity. He says Justice Maya should have been appointed to that position because she was a woman and was the preferred candidate from the JSE, and various other issues. In fact, if I can read for you from the actual legal document today sent to President Ramaphosa, I'm just trying to bring up that segment where they were critical, in fact, of Ramaphosa. It says there were ulterior, illegal, unconstitutional, and personal motives on the part of Ramaphosa in appointing Raymond Zondo as Chief Justice of the country.